Hello. So I'm reading the last part of my book, Voice for Animals. Um, Quite a challenging chapter. No further explanation, I guess. Just get through this, eh? For many years, I believed that the slaughter of animals in this country, at least in civilized England, could not be as bad as my young mind imagined. This is because I had heard that laws had been passed to make slaughter humane. I understood this to mean that, by law, animals must be rendered unconscious in a humane way before being killed. Before being killed. This, I understood, was recognition of the fact that animals can feel what is happening to them, that they are sentient beings like ourselves. And I understood that this meant that it was recognized how animals suffer horrifically during the processes of slaughter, if not rendered unconscious. There is a shocking problem with this supposed practice of rendering unconscious. It seems that this intended act of compassion is too much inconvenience for the slaughterers in their slaughterhouses. It seems they found a loophole in the law. It seems that to kill humanely is too expensive for the slaughtermen. It takes too long. It needs more investment. It seems that the stun administered is only temporary. It seems that the killers do indeed stun. Yes, it seems that the killers, i.e. slaughter people, it seems that the killers do indeed stun animals prior to the killing act. We have believed this will render animals oblivious of the actions thereafter of those killers. We have believed that animals would be insensible to the pains of being cut, bled, mutilated, sliced, burned, boiled, skinned, disemboweled. We were misled. Apparently, that stun can only last even only a matter of a handful of seconds, long enough for the human killer to access her throat, the dear animal's throat, and cut it. The killers actually want her to be conscious after the cut, so that she will thrash about, thereby bleeding out. My judgment of this is pure evil. Of course, we, the general public, do not witness these scenes in our daily lives. It all happens behind the closed doors of the meat industry, the slaughterhouses. But now, on the internet, the all-revealing internet, we see the horrific scenes aplenty. Innocent animal beings suspended by their beautiful legs and feet on conveyor belts. We see them upside down, necks cut open, heads flailing around, lifeblood gushing out. The beautiful animal being convulses and struggles in terror. I have even seen humans gouging out the insides of the dear animal beings while they hung from the conveyor hooks, fully conscious and alive. It's evil, no less. So the laws of this so-called civilized Western society, or at least of this country and culture, are not being adhered to by many, many animal murderers. Slaughter people. Every day, every moment, these acts of evil are done to innocent animal beings by humans in the processing industries against the law of the land and against the natural law of compassion. There is really only one reason for this: human ignorance. Ignorance. It is ignorance of the fact that it is wrong to place greed and avarice above the value of compassion. This ignorance, all pervasive in human society, is cause of the complexity of world problems. Here I wish to explain a pivotal point that I reached in my search for a better world. So, disbelief, disillusion, and dismay gradually became, over the years, prominent reactions that I experienced regarding my observations of our society, of the Western society in which I lived. So much so that I spent much time investigating the possibilities of leaving this society in order to join with another. I considered Mormons, Amish, Jehovah's Witnesses, and various alternatives. Finally, I discovered that I could visit the local Islamic community to see if they could help me. I knew then very little of Islamic ways. I did meet with Muslim people. That is a story for another day. Suffice to say, this road of investigation did not prove fruitful for me. I continued to find every reason to criticize, dissociate, and denounce this Western society. Then, in a year or two ago, I gained home access to the internet. I searched online for anything that would allow me to feel that others out there in the world might be like me, seeing and knowing the cruelties, corruptions, hypocrisies, etc., and wanting to make a better life, a better world. My searches led me through many insightful, intelligent, forward and lateral thinking sites, one way or another. I came to learn a great deal more about the evils in this human world and of the bravery of those who stand for truth and justice. One subject became of prominent importance to me in conjunction with animals and how humans treat them. This subject was Islam. What is going on? This is how the two interests became interconnected for me. It happened that the first time I saw the inside of a slaughterhouse on an internet video was the inside of an Islamic slaughterhouse, where they were slaughtering animals for hallal. I did not, until then, know what hallal involved at all. I was not looking to see the sight, such as I have described to you in earlier parts of Voice for Animals, in my earlier videos, by the way, here. But it was suddenly there as part of my search, in particular, into what is all the fuss about Islam in this world today? When I saw the terrible cruelty done to the innocent animal in that place of slaughter that day, I immediately felt an absolute responsibility to stand and speak for the suffering animal beings in the name of all that is good and just. I realized that probably trillions of animals have suffered the same fate, have been tortured in this way, have probably suffered even worse fates. I realized I must try to stop the suffering, the terrible atrocities. Now, this is getting to the pivotal point of this essay. At the time of experiencing that terrible sight of torture, I completely judged the followers of Islam for requiring and colluding with this practice for their halal meat. I saw this as a barbaric imposition on our Western society. My understanding was still that we in this society do not slaughter animals with such barbarity. So I wrote accordingly for a while. However, further investigations online showed me that, as I explained and described in my essay earlier in this book, the laws regarding human killing are being ignored and broken by the established traditional Western facilities and authorities, and within other cultures in our society too. Now, I found it no longer relevant to judge Islam for its cruelties to animals, because the cruelties perpetrated within this Western society are equally unacceptable. So, my judgment is upon all who commit these cruel acts of murder and torture, and also upon those who collude. You are colluding when, even after you know the truth, you still require flesh of innocent animals for your consumption. We can all live healthy, happy lives as vegans. The earth has capacity aplenty to feed us all, but not while we are stupidly depleting Earth's resources by overpopulating with animals intended for meat. We are killing and torturing our own spirits and souls by our cruel and evil actions toward animal beings. We need to return to compassionate living before it's too late, before we all descend into barbarity and evil.